Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is the third video related to the accounting for receivable. In the first video, we talked about how we can recognize the bad debts expense by using allowances method. And in that video, we talked about income statement approach and balance sheet approach to calculate the allowances. And in the second video, we talked about how we can book the bad debts expense by using the direct write-off method. And this is the third video in which we are going to talk about accounts receivable factoring. The link of previous two videos I will provide in the description of this video. So to understand the concept of factoring here, first let me give you just example. Let's assume if your business is making sales on credit, maybe on 6 months credit period, I mean say customer will pay you after 6 months, but maybe you cannot wait for the 6 months. Maybe you are in financial crisis, or maybe you have liquidity issues, or maybe you have to pay certain current liabilities. So that is why you need immediate cash, okay, for to ease or to free up the cash which is tied up in the accounts receivable. What we can do, we can go for the factoring arrangement. So what is the factoring? So have a look here. So we are going to talk about first the definition of the factoring. Actually, the factoring is a financial transaction in which company sells its account receivables. Like here we will sell our account receivables to the third party. The third party is specializes in buying receivables at discount, and that third party is called a factor company. Maybe it could be the factor company, could be the bank or any financial institution who are specialized in buying the receivables. So the factoring arrangement, it is also known as invoice factoring, or it is also called account receivable financing. To understand the concept of factor arrangement, so here we have a small picture. For example, this is our company. So what we will do, we will transfer our account receivables. Maybe we will sell our account receivable, maybe we will give receivable as a collateral, as a security to the third party which is called factor company, and factor company will give us advance, or the factor will pay us the cash immediately. So this arrangement is called account receivable factoring. So here I'm using two words. Maybe we will sell our invoices, sell our account receivables. Maybe we will use our receivable as a collateral, as a security against the loan. So how it will work, I will explain, of course. So stay with me. So now here guys, we are going to talk about how account receivable factoring works. So here we have a few points which will clear your idea. Actually here the company sells it receivable to factor. It's not necessary we will sell, because sometime we can give invoices as a security as well to secure the loan, okay. So that is why the factor collects payment on receivable from the company's customer. Like factor will collect the money from the customers on behalf of the company. Point number two, companies choose factoring if they want to receive cash quickly rather than waiting for the duration of the credit terms. As I told you, if you have if you make sales on credit for 3 months credit, maybe you cannot wait for 3 months, you need cash immediately, so you can go for the factor arrangements. Then companies can build up their cash immediately. Yes. The point number next, the factoring helps companies free up capital that is tied up in account receivable. Yes, the money, whatever money is stuck in shape of receivables, so you can free up that capital. So the companies can also transfer the default risk associated with the receivable to the factor. So actually it is not necessary that the risk of the bad debts, risk of the uncollectible accounts, you will transfer to the factor, because it depends upon the arrangement. So sometime we will make an arrangement with the factor company in which we will transfer the risk of default on the factor's shoulder. Maybe in other arrangement the company itself will bear the risk of default. So actually it depends upon the arrangement. So here we have two types of arrangement. The first arrangement is called recourse factoring, and the second arrangement is called non-recourse factoring. So first of all, I'm going to talk about non-recourse factoring because its accounting is really easy. Okay, so under the non-recourse factoring, which is also called without recourse, like here you are gonna to transfer the receivables without recourse. What will happen? Stay with me. So here in transfer without recourse, the factor takes on all the risk of uncollectible receivable. This is really important point. Under the transfer without recourse, what we are gonna to do as a company, we are gonna to transfer the risk of bad debts on the factors company shoulder. Okay, so here company itself, as a company, for example, if I'm gonna to sell the receivable to you, let's assume you are factor, so you will bear the risk of the uncollectible receivables. So in short, the company who sells the receivable, he is like insured against the bad debts because they don't bear any risk of the uncollectible accounts. The company that transferred receivable has no liability for uncollectible receivables, because if any customer will default, so this risk will be beared by the factor company, not by our company. Okay, so it means this transaction, when you transfer the receivables to the factor company and you also transfer the risk of bad debts, it means this transaction is a sale of receivable. Like this transaction qualify as a sale of receivable. It looks like sale of receivable. Why? Because you have no liability for uncollectible receivables. So here another note, guys, when we hire the factor company. Okay, so what sometimes the factor company, they also charge a fee, which is in fixed percentage of the receivables amount. Okay, that is called factor fee. So what is the factor fee? Factor will charge high factoring fee percentage of the receivable, because factoring fee is always the percentage of receivable. In case of transfer without recourse, when we transfer the risk of bad debts to the factor company, of course factor company is facing high risk, so that is why they will charge high factoring fee. Now here we go, how the accounting we can do for the transfer of without recourse. So let's have a look. Here we have a small example to understand. A company transfer of $500 of receivables without recourse for the a proceed of dollar 400. It means you have a invoices of $500 and you have a without recourse arrangement with the factor company, but the factor company is gonna to pay you only 100 $400. So what entry you will pass? Because here it is a sale of receivable. So as a company, not as a factor, as a client who is hiring the factor, so what we need to do, guys, so first we will record the debit will be the cash with the $400, and credit will be the account receivable of $500, because you are gonna to de-recognize the receivable from the seller's books. Okay, because it qualifies as a sale of receivable. Now you can see there is a difference. So difference, if because there is no information is provided, so I will assume it is that interest expense of $100. Okay, so otherwise sometime it's not a complete entry, because complete entry depends upon the arrangement, but this is the just it, this entry gives you overview. So like we will make a debit cash with 400, credit account receivable with 500, and the difference will be charged to the interest expense. Sometime, guys, the when the factor company will charge factoring fee, which is the percentage of receivable, so that is called loss on the factoring. Okay, that is also recorded in the financial statement. So this entry will be cleared, will be more cleared with the help of the examples below. So here we have a small example which I'm going to talk about. So here we have a one example. Please focus with me. We have a factor charges 2% fee plus an interest rate of 18% on all cash advance to the transferor of accounts receivable. Here, guys, you have a 2% of factoring fee, which will be calculated as a percentage of receivable. Plus, the factor company will also charge 18% of the interest to the seller of the receivable. Monthly sales are $100,000. Here we have a sales of $100,000. Okay, so then and the factor advances 90% of the receivables, right? Factor is gonna to give you the money not 100%, he's gonna to give you 90% of the receivable submitted. After deducting the 2% fee, he will deduct 2% fee in advance and the interest in advance. It means factor will give you 90% of the invoice, okay, right now. Maybe 10% he will give you in the future, and he will also deduct 2% factor fee, and he will also deduct interest in advance, okay. And here credit terms are net 60 days. So here, guys, we have to calculate what is the cost to the transferer of this arrangement. So you have to calculate the cost, it's really important. So how we can calculate the cost? So we will do these working, and you have to understand the double entry also, because this is a little bit long entry, okay. As I told you, the entry depends upon the arrangement. So here we have a amount. You can see here, amount of receivable submitted amount was $100,000, yes, and minus 10% reserve. Why it's 10% reserve? Because they are gonna to give us 90% of the invoiced value, okay, 90%. So 10% they are gonna to hold, okay, and they will pay us future, in future, maybe after 2 months, okay. So we will take 10% of receivable amount. Receivable amount is 100,000. If you will take 10% of that, it will give you $10,000, okay. And minus factor fee also, because factor fee is the 2%, and this 2% will be applicable on receivable amount, which is $100,000. So if you will take that 2% of $100,000, it will give you $1,000. They will also deduct in advance. So now if you will take 10,000 minus, oh sorry, 100,000 minus 10,000 minus 2,000, this will give you 88,000, and this 88,000 is the amount accruing to the transferer. Like, this is the amount which you have to which is accrued to the transferer, but factor will deduct the interest in advance also, and he's charging 18% of the interest. So now what we will do, we will minus here 18% interest for 60 days only, because this arrangement or the credit terms are 60 days. So how you will calculate the interest, guys? So you will take this 88,000 here times 18% is the rate of interest, times 2 divided by 360, sorry, 60 divided by 360, because 60 days means a 2 months, 360 means a days in a year. So it depends in the question. Maybe in exam he will tell you have to use 365 days in a year, okay. So if you will calculate the interest, 88,000 times 18% times 60 divided by 360, this is the interest 2640, and they are also gonna to deduct in advance. It means the remaining amount, okay, they are gonna to transfer to the company, to the seller of receivable. And here I am assuming, guys, this is without recourse factoring, okay, without recourse, because we are studying the without recourse. So here, guys, so what entry you will pass here? The journal entry to record the transaction is debit will be cash with 85,360. This is the final value here, you can see. And here the debit will also go to due from factor, because factor deduct or hold 10% of the invoice. So 10% of the invoice was 10,000. So you will make it debit. And in future, once he will pay you this remaining amount 10,000, so you will make at that time debit cash credit due from the factor. But right now we will make debit cash with 85,360, debit due from factor which he hold it, and debit loss on sale of receivable 2,000. This is what is the loss on sale of receivable. Actually it is the factor fee which was 2,000 here, you can see, okay. Then debit will go to prepaid interest, because you have paid the interest in advance, so that is what is called prepaid interest, so which you will record here as 2640. And here is the calculation above, you can see here, okay. And the credit will go to the account receivables as 100,000. But our question was, what is the cost to the transferer of this arrangement? The cost is $2,000 factor fee plus interest of 2640. So total cost is 4640. This is the cost, this is actually the loss to the factor company. This 10,000 reserve is not a loss, guys, because you will take it in the future or after 60 days. Now we are going to move to the second arrangements. So let me take you to the Excel sheet. Here, guys, we have a second arrangement which is transfer with recourse. Okay, the previous one was without recourse. This is with recourse. In with recourse, guys, you should remember when we will hand over the invoices to the factor, it is as a collateral, as a security. Whatever money we will take in advance from the factor, that is a loan for us. And here we are not gonna to transfer the risk of bad debts to the factor. In case if the customer will default, the company will pay from his pocket. Okay, so this is what is transfer with recourse. So have a look here. In the transfer with recourse, the factor can demand money back from the company that transferred receivable if it cannot collect from the customer. It means here we did not transfer the risk of the bad debts. Okay, so note, it means this transaction is the loan, it is not a sale of receivable, because just we give the invoices as a security. Okay, and this loan is a short-term loan against receivable invoices. So another note we have here, factor will charge low fee. Why factor will charge low fee? The factoring, which is the factoring fee, and factoring fee is always the percentage of receivable. Why it could be low? The reason is that the bad debts risk is with the company, not with the factor company. So that is why factor is having a less risk, so they will charge low factoring fee. So here we have an example to understand the concept. Please, I hope you will understand. So they're telling you we have a ABC company transfers $500 of receivable with recourse. It's this arrangement is with recourse. Okay, and you transfer how much? $500 of receivable, and you transferred for $450 less a $50 holdback. Actually, guys, you have invoices of $500, but you will get $450. But factor is not gonna to give you 450 now. He's gonna to give you only $400, because 50 he is $50 is gonna to hold back. Okay, and then here they're telling you later on the factor is able to collect receivables of $490. Even there was a total receivable of $500, but he's collected only 900 and $490, and $10 of receivables are uncollectible. It means it is like a bad debts. Okay, so now in this arrangement, so what entry you will pass? So it means we can break this question into two parts. This is the first transaction. Okay, like we, and this is the second transaction. So first I'm going to do the entry for the first transaction. So for the entry for the first transaction is, so what we will do as a company who transferred the receivables to the factor. So as a company, what entry you will pass? You will make debit cash debit of $400. Okay, and debit will be due from factor, which is holdback account, $50. It is like a receivable we will receive later. Okay, and credit will go to short term debt account, which is $450, because here we will record the liability. We will not credit the account receivable, because here we are not going to sell the receivable. It is just a loan against the invoices. So here you should remember, you can see this arrow. This arrow is with the due from the factor holdback account. And what is the note here? Due from the factor, actually it is the potential payments for possible non-collectibles, like you might have bad debts in the future. So what the factor will do, for example, they hold it $50 for the time being. Let's assume there is bad debts of $10, so remaining $40 they will transfer you. That this $10, it means this holdback account is the potential payment for possible non-collectibles. Okay, so here now I'm going to do the entry for the second part of the question. Like later on, the factor is able to collect a receivable of 490, and dollar 10 receivable is are uncollectible. So here we go. So after the factor after the factor collected for 90 of receivables and $10 are uncollectible, what entry we will pass? So first of all, we will from the holdback account, which was the potential payments for possible non-collectibles. So what we will do here, it was $50, so they will deduct those $10 which are uncollectible, and remaining 40 we will receive. So we will make debit cash of $40. Okay, and credit will be due from factor $50. Now you can see there is a difference of 10. This 10 is non-collectible, so where we will transfer to the allowances for doubtful accounts. We have created the allowances by using income statement or balance sheet approach, so we will make it debit to the allowances for doubtful account. Okay, and now here, at the end of the credit periods, of course, what we need to do once the credit terms will expire, so what we need to do, so in the first entry we have booked here liability, this liability, so we have to remove this liability at the end of the credit terms. So what we will make it, we will make debit short term debt account 450, credit will be the account receivables with the 500. Okay, with the 500, because receivable was 500, and there is the difference of 50, and this 50 we will record as a interest expense. Okay, I hope this is the this video maybe has solved your doubts, whatever you have in your mind, and you have understood what it is. So guys, in the next video, what I'm going to do, I will try to practice few questions with you, in which we will talk about allowance, a few questions related to allowances, few questions related to direct write-off method, and few questions related to the factoring of receivable. Okay, and then I will inshallah upload the lectures related to notes receivable. I hope everything is clear, guys. If you really like the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you have any question, you can ask me through the comment section. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.